I'm CWO4 Vic Pinion, U.S. Navy retired, telling some stories of my naval career. This one is when I was a catapult rescue and maintenance officer aboard the aircraft carrier John F. Kennedy CV-67 when we were returning from a deployment in the Atlantic and Mediterranean Sea. A special team came aboard from Norfolk, Virginia, to give us some ship's force overhaul management system, the SFOMS system, training, to introduce it to the crew and to promote it and to get us started with planning for the jobs that the ship's crew would be doing during the upcoming overhaul at the Norfolk Naval Shipyard of the ship, a 1 year long overhaul period. So we had to, while we were still in an operational mode with all of the work center supervisors and maintenance chief and myself and these people, fill out a whole bunch of forms on jobs that were specifically planned for the ship's crew to do. Now this included things that we did the whole job. It included jobs that we did part of it, and other activities did other parts, like ship to shop jobs, where we would take a machine apart, take a big hydraulic motor or electric motor or something, take it off the machine and take it off the ship and deliver it to them, and they would overhaul it to like new condition, and we would go get it, bring it back, and reinstall it. Well, we had to coordinate all of that and plan it out and assign man hours and dates and times for each step of each one of those jobs and so forth. Well, there was a lot that we really couldn't plan for, like the shipyard jobs where they did the planning for it. We'd done the request that we'd fill out the deferred action forms, which were used as the basic document. The shipyard's planning and estimating department would fill out, write up their job orders and assign different shops of the shipyard to do different portions of the jobs. And certain portions of a lot of jobs would be assigned to the ship's force to do. And we would find out about that when the foreman would tell us, okay, I need 2 men to do this part. But they identified that as Shop 98, the shipyard Shop 98, when in fact it was members of the ship's crew that were doing these things. And we just have to fit that in with what else we were doing when they told us they needed to do that. So it's just one of those difficult things. So we planned out our SFOMS jobs as best we could. And now we got back in the States, we come to the ordering of materials for each SFOMS job. Well, we couldn't order the materials yet because the SFOMS budget had not been allocated. And we could only order the materials using the job order number for that job on the D1348 supply document that we ordered the materials for. Well, they had set up, after they finally, very late, got the funding approved for that and assigned for the SFOMS jobs, now we could order materials. Well, the supply system set up a special SFOMS warehouse on the base at Norfolk and set it up by department, by job order number. When they'd order these materials by job order number, and they would come in and be put in bins with that job order number on it. It was well organized, well laid out. Now the ship enters the shipyard a few months after we got back to the States, and we were going to start these jobs, all these different jobs, different activities, doing different work, a max work time frame. And they shifted the warehouse, all the materials from that warehouse, to a different warehouse over on a base that was an annex to the naval shipyard. Well, they set it up similarly, but something was lost in the move, okay? Well, I would go over there and I would go through that. And I took my senior petty officer, chiefs and senior petty officer, work center supervisor, and showed them around through that. And when you're doing your SFOMS jobs, here's where your parts are going to be. When you get ready to do these parts, all you got to do is come over here and get them. And because we had gotten a truck, a pickup truck, to haul them back to the ship. Only thing was, a lot of the parts, the SFOMS funding code was the lowest possible priority for parts, for machinery parts. The highest priority were for deployed units. And then as ships that are still operational and going to sea and operating, they had another much higher priority than being in the shipyard. We had the lowest possible priority. Therefore, a lot of the parts we just didn't get. They never did come in during the whole year-long overhaul period because it's such low priority and a shortage of parts in the system because of some other supply problems that my technical community was experiencing, had been experiencing for a long time. Well, we had to make do as best we could, which we did, and we did many of those jobs. Now, fun part of this little story, I paid a great deal of attention to everything that's going on, and I had established as collateral duty to the senior petty officers to look after certain job orders. Now, the ones I had, several senior petty officers were short timers. They're not going to be there through the whole overhaul, but to be progress men. And some of the work center supervisors were going to be there for the whole overhaul, or they're progress men for certain jobs within their work center. Well, I had gotten copies of all of those job orders that had been written. But a lot of them hadn't been written yet. And I'm organizing job orders by job order number and put all the other supporting paperwork with them in file cabinets by my desk in the maintenance office. And I read every job order. I'd go in there at 3:30 every morning. I'd get up 3 o'clock every morning. I'd be in the ship. I'd sit there at my desk. I'd read job orders. And I knew them thoroughly. And I would teach the work center supervisors and the chiefs, work center group supervisors and maintenance chief, all how to read those job orders. And we established progress charts. And those chiefs and first class, they knew those job orders thoroughly. So they weren't just bitching about something when they went to a shipyard worker to say, oh, this ain't right. They knew what they were talking about. I discovered 2 jobs. These were big jobs that they had written job orders for the shipyard to do, but they had not, those jobs had not been submitted by Air Land to the shipyard for them to do. They had been assigned to ship's force to do under the SFOMS program. But yeah, here are shipyard job orders for the shipyard to do those jobs. Okay, an understanding of human beings, and what they did was the shipyard's planning and estimating shop, instead of looking at each assigned job and reading the documents, they just, oh yeah, we overhauled this last time the ship come through here. So one of those jobs was overhauling the catapult's bridle arresters. Well, that's a pretty good job. And another one was to overhaul the catapult automatic lubrication systems. Another pretty big job. But they had just copied the job orders from the previous overhaul and applied them to this overhaul. So I didn't say anything to anybody about it. I just canceled it off of our SFOMS schedule, and I let the shipyard overhaul those things. And they did it, and they did a fine job of it. I never told them about it. I don't know how they funded it, but they did the job. Okay, end of this story, y'all carry on.